Hey everybody, and welcome to the intersection of sports and marketing. I'm Brian Cristiano, and this is episode 15 of OUTOFSCOPE. Will Under Armour ever surpass Nike? Let's talk about it and let's find out. All you marketers out there need to listen to this.
Sports marketing expert Brian Cristiano.
Brian Cristiano.
Marketers and advertisers and brands always have to keep in mind, you have to play to the state of your audience. Endurance sports athletes are absolutely fanatics.
Having a Facebook page doesn't get you any business, but doing it right can be quite effective.
All right, so it's episode 15. We're going to break the show format a little bit today. I've got an exciting one. I think it's going to be fun. Definitely make sure to comment and let me know what you think, because we're trying a few different things and I want to see how this rolls. Today, I have on the show two new people, two new hires at Bold, recently came on board. I have Rakeen. What's up, Rakeen?
Hey, everyone.
I have Corey, who just joined Bold as well. And they are massive sports fans. I mean, these guys' brains are, I don't know how they actually do any sort of marketing or anything creative, because all they know is sports. They know everything about the NBA, the NFL, PGA. I mean, it blows my mind the depths of info and stats and stuff that these guys know. And when we were talking about the show earlier, we're like, okay, cool, what are we going to talk about? And these guys were like getting so deep into the conversation. I'm like, let's just have them on the show. Let's do this. So, you know, that's the topic of today's show. It's, will Under Armour ever surpass Nike? They're clearly a much smaller brand. Nike has the vast majority, piece of the market share. But Under Armour has been creeping up, and they've been growing exponentially. And there's been a couple of interesting things recently that is why we're talking about this today. One being Jordan Spieth, the PGA golfer, young guy. What is he, 21? 21 years old. This guy's absolutely killing it. 2 Masters he's won?
He won the Masters and the US Open, 2 of the first 4 majors.
2 of the first 4 majors this year. No one's ever won all 4 in the same year, correct?
Correct.
So no one's ever won all 4 in the same year, but now all eyes are on this guy. He's super young. He's absolutely killing it out there, and they're going to want to see, can he win the next 2 big major tournaments? So the big piece of that is, what? He's an Under Armour sponsored athlete. They got him when he had just became pro, before he was really a big name. Is that?
They got him when he was an amateur, actually, when he was at University of Texas. And they just recently re-signed him to a 10-year extension, but they've been with him for some time before he was even a professional, before he was even on the scene.
Yeah, and they re-signed him even before he won any majors, so it's a good gamble on their part.
So that's interesting, and I think that that's what we've noticed, and that's what you guys are bringing to my attention, is that seems to be part of Under Armour's strategy. It's not necessarily about going out and getting the best talent. It's about trying to find really young talent that shows potential for major upside, and they're bringing them in young, they're bringing them in early. Do you guys think that this is either A, a good strategy, or B, have we really seen this before from any other brands, like a Nike or like an Adidas or a Reebok?
I mean, when you look at something like Under Armour, they've tried this in the past. They've recruited some really promising young talent, at least in golf, and it hasn't really worked out. Jordan Spieth is really the first one that has hit for them. But, I mean, it's been a home run so far. He's won the first 2 majors, like we said. He's going in the British Open with a lot of attention, and his brand is starting to become synonymous with Under Armour.
Who are you talking to, Rakeen? You talking to me, this show?
Are
we talking to the audience?
I'll talk to you.
You can talk to me. It's all right.
I mean, are we deciding it right now?
Yeah, we're deciding.
I'll talk to you.
You can talk to me.
a little better, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just conversational.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go.
Okay. Where was I?
Continue. No. So anyway, so what we're saying is, like, you know, obviously he's been their first major hit as far as golf is concerned. They've had a lot of sponsorships in golf. He's the first guy that's shown major promises, and now all eyes are on him, which is going to be massive for the Under Armour brand, just because everyone's going to want to see, can he win the next major? Can he get there? Can he win all 4? And even if he doesn't, he's such a huge talent right now, they're going to start paying attention to him over the next few years just to see where he goes regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if he's won just 2 of these majors, it's something that hasn't been done in a long time. He's going to have a lot of attention, a lot of eyes on him for a very long time, even if he doesn't win these next 2 majors.
So that's the other piece of this, right? And, you know, Stephen Curry, let's transition over to the NBA. So Stephen Curry is also an Under Armour sponsored athlete. When did Under Armour start the sponsorship with Stephen?
I think about 4 years ago when he entered the draft. They actually just released a Stephen Curry shoe, so obviously he's on the rise. He just won the MVP of the NBA Finals. The Golden State Warriors obviously just won the championship, so he's really on the rise. I think that he's a great face for the Under Armour brand. He can relate to a lot of kids. He doesn't really have a terrible history. He's family oriented. Comes from a great family. His dad was actually a professional basketball player. If you've been watching the NBA Finals, his daughter, has kind of like taken the media by storm. I mean, she's been a big hit at all the press conferences, so he's really a great face for the brand and comes from a great family.
You know, and I think that's, again, it's like a huge win for them. It obviously brought him on early when he showed potential large talent, but now, you know, I mean, they won, right? Like his name is all over every headline as far as the NBA is concerned. Everyone's going to be watching him, the Warriors, and he's an Under Armour sponsored athlete. So we kind of have these two parallels in these major sports where you've got Jordan Spieth, you've got, you know, Stephen Curry, both Under Armour sponsored athletes who are now at the top of the list of athletes in the world right now, at least in professional sports. That, from my perspective, from a marketing perspective, that's huge. And this is where I want to tie it back to Nike. They still have, Under Armour has a massive, massive way to go before they can ever even remotely touch what Nike has done in the apparel and the shoe market. But they're making waves, and I think that this is one of the first major steps to, you know, potentially being a successor of that market and taking over a larger piece of the share. When did Nike really become the #1 brand? Like, how did they get there? Was it Michael Jordan? Was it that sponsorship, or was it other sponsorships, or was it sponsorships in sports in general? Because from where, you know, from my perspective, that's what I've seen. You know, we're all relatively young guys, but, you know, I watched Jordan play back in the day, and Nike was all over it.
Yeah, I mean, Nike has been on top for as long as I've been looking into these kind of things, but the dominance that they have right now, I think it started with Jordan Brand, started with Michael Jordan. It started with, you know, he has, what am I going?
I don't know. This is live, dude. So, like, you know, you got to go into it. But, you know, Corey, Michael Jordan's brand was really, like, in my point of view, the antithesis, what really ignited the fire, ignited the flame for Nike. Was there other stuff behind that, before that or after that, that really helped fuel the growth of a brand like Nike?
I think it started with Jordan. I also think like players who came after Jordan, such as Kobe and LeBron James, I mean, there was never really a factor where they were going to go to Adidas. Yes, Kobe had a little stint with Adidas, but he always wanted to be a Nike guy. When LeBron came out of high school, Adidas was going after him, Nike was going after him. Adidas actually offered him more money at first, and he turned it down and went to Nike. So I think that Jordan kind of started the Nike trend, and these big-time athletes kind of followed in Jordan's footsteps. Also, Nike also has Tiger Woods. I mean, with Tiger Woods and LeBron James, those are two of the most marketable guys out right now. So Nike has always been prominent, but I think that Under Armour is really starting to make its case. I think that it started with Under Armour about a year ago when they had a chance to get Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's a Baltimore kid, born and raised in Baltimore. He's opting out of his contract next year, so he's going to be a free agent, and a lot of people thought he was going to be with the Wizards. So Under Armour really had a significant play. Ended up he chose to go with Nike, but people saw that Under Armour was really taken into consideration, and Kevin Durant really gave it some serious thought, and that really gave Under Armour a name and really put them in the position that they are now.
It established them as a player.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, that's so interesting, and you know, I guess that really makes me wonder, and it makes me think, like, you know, can Under Armour become as big as Nike based on the fact that these athletes themselves have a choice between these contracts, right? Like, you're being approached by Adidas, you're being approached by Under Armour, you're being approached by Nike. Is the Nike brand so powerful that the athletes themselves will want to choose to be with Nike? Or is Under Armour making enough of a stir, and are they big enough to the point where athletes might choose Under Armour over a Nike brand to be their sponsor?
Yeah, I think that a lot of these athletes are thinking that if they go with Nike, it's going to be great. They're with Nike, but there's also some big guys with Nike. There's LeBron, there's Tiger Woods, so they might get lost in the shuffle. I mean, how often are you going to be a LeBron James where you're going to be the face of Nike? So if someone's going to go, so like Steph Curry, if he went with Nike, yeah, it would have been awesome, but he wouldn't be the face of Nike. He's pretty much one of the faces of Under Armour, and he gets the recognition that he gets because he's with Under Armour, not with Nike. Nike, he probably would have got lost in the shuffle, but now he's really one of the 3-4 top guys at Under Armour, along with Tom Brady, Clayton Kershaw, Bryce Harper. So I think that these players are choosing Under Armour because they really gives them an avenue to really be the face of a brand.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's such a great point, and I think that also might be, tell me if you guys agree or not, but I think that also might be one of the main reasons that they're going after such young talent, because the younger talent is definitely going to get lost in the mix at a brand like Nike, whereas Under Armour, they might have a chance to stand out and shine. You agree on that?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Also, in regards to the young talent, I mean, bring it back to Jordan Spieth, golf is trying to attract more millennials to the sport, and what better person to attract more millennials than Jordan Spieth? He's a 21-year-old kid, also comes from a great family, really worked his way up, started as an amateur, worked his way up to pro. He was a stud at the University of Texas, and he's really put in the hard work, and it's starting to pay off. And I mean, he's a great face for golf and a great face for Under Armour.
All that's awesome points. Under Armour's clearly making waves. People are paying attention. This isn't some small thing. It's going to be big. Either Under Armour's strategy is really paying off, or they got very lucky, or a combination of both. This year has just been like massive for Under Armour. They're still nowhere near touching the market share of Nike. But, and I'm not talking 2, 3, 4 years from now, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, can Under Armour ever surpass Nike in market share?
I don't believe they will ever surpass Nike, but they're definitely starting the conversation. I mean, I took the subway to work today. I mean, I look down and everyone's wearing a pair of Nikes, and Nike just made a deal with the NBA, so they're going to be the sponsor of the NBA for the foreseeable future. So I don't think they're going to ever surpass Nike, but they're definitely starting the conversation. People are starting to buy more Under Armour product. Kids are starting to buy more Under Armour product. I was just in the store the other day with my cousin, and it was like Modell's type of thing, and he didn't even really look at the Nike shoes at first. He really gravitated towards the Under Armour, and that doesn't necessarily mean he bought the Under Armour shoes, but he's thinking about it, and Under Armour is definitely on the right track.
Rakeem, will they overtake him or not?
I also don't really think so.
Really?
I think they need a Jordan brand. I think Jordan brand is really what makes the difference between an Under Armour and a Nike. Jordan brand, it started out as something that was more performance-based, and it just completely turned into it's a lifestyle brand now. It's fashion. Everybody, I mean, to have a pair of Jordans on your feet, it's a prize.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's what people want. Under Armour doesn't have anything like that yet. When you want to do something like that, it has to be completely organic. You can't just make people think that your stuff is cool. You can control performance to a certain metric. Under Armour can make a Stephen Curry shoe that's a better basketball shoe than a Nike shoe, but they can't make people want that shoe. It has to be completely organic. It has to make that transfer, and that's something, like you said, that's going to be 5, 10, 15 years. It's going to take a long time to really see if that kind of thing happens.
I think so. I agree. I mean, I'm putting my cards on the other side of the table and saying, I think Under Armour in 10, 15 years from now might be the brand that overtakes the Nike. Because, and here's why, right? Here's why. Because Nike's a legacy brand. Right now, Nike is still the shit. They're still the brand, right? Like, you can't beat them. But think just in history, as far as business is concerned, right? Like, GE was the brand, Pan Am was the brand, right? Like Delta was the brand. And then somebody comes along, does it a little differently. JetBlue comes along, and all of a sudden Delta's not so cool anymore, right? Like Pan Am goes out, out of business. I don't think Nike's ever going anywhere. I don't think they're going out of business.
But nobody thought that about Pan Am or anything like that. It's completely...
It's what you don't expect. And I think that's the thing about being such a large brand and having such a big legacy. It's hard to continue to live up to that legacy forever. At some point, someone's going to shake up the market. And what we're seeing right now from Under Armour, I think they're the ones shaking up the market. Whether they can sustain this kind of growth and continue to shake up the market and bring on these incredible athletes and market as well as they are over the next 5, 10, 15 years for whatever it takes to take over that market share, that's up to them. But if they can keep this momentum up, I genuinely think that they'll overtake Under Armour in 10 to 15 years. So we'll have to do a show in 10 or 15 years. We're coming back on. We're doing OUTOFSCOPE episode 1042. And we're going to talk about where Under Armour is. So you guys cool with that? Like, 10 years, we'll put it on the calendar.
Will Nike catch up to Under Armour?
Yeah, will they retake their market share? What will it be?
The fall of Nike.
2027 recap. Anyway, so thank you guys for coming on. I know this is a little bit weird. It's different. You guys aren't used to being on camera.
It'll take some getting used to.
Yeah? Did you guys like it?
It's great.
I did like it.
You have fun?
Yeah, we should do it again.
All right, cool. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what the reaction is. So anyway, thank you guys for coming on. In all honesty, like, this is a lot of fun. And, as you guys can see, these dudes know so much about sports. It's mind-numbing, so it was like a perfect topic to bring these dudes on, and we're just having fun here at Bold. So thank you so much for watching episode 15. Make sure to like, comment, share, and honestly, let us know. Shoot us an email even. Like, we don't care. We answer this stuff. But comment. Let us know. Did you like this? It's a different format. We're just trying out some different stuff. We're having fun. If you didn't like it, let us know, and blame it on one of these guys, and let me know which one, because I'll hold them completely accountable for the lack of success of the show. No, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, please let us know. Thank you so much for watching episode 15 of Out of Scope.
Started with Jordan Brand, started with Michael Jordan. It started with, he has.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Where am I going?
I don't know.